The title of the journal to be presented is Experimental Investigation on the Production of Biogas from Waste Food by Omar Al-Ul, Zaki Al-Hassan, Muhammad Ramadan, and Abdul Ghani Olabi. The production of biogas has been a substantial target to be utilized globally as it serves as an alternative for fossil fuels. This energy generated from biomass is assumed to be the largest resource which can limit the excessive use of fossil fuels and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. There are many sources which can be used for biogas production, for example, crops, grasses, leaves, manure, fruits, and vegetable wastes, or even additional paper could be used. But in this journal, they utilize feedstock. This research is carried out to investigate the improvement of biogas yield by mechanical pretreatment of using Hollander beater. This leads us to the next part, methods. As mentioned before, feedstocks are used as the substrate which was collected from the farm, and starch is used as the inoculum for the anaerobic digestion collected from a biogas plant. The sludge was then refrigerated in flasks at 4 degrees Celsius to cease the microorganisms' activity. For the pre-treatment, the Hollander beater is adjusted prior to placement of feedstock. The bladed drums spun at 580 revolutions per minute when the feedstock is exposed to the shear action against the bed plate. The feedstocks were pre-treated with a beating time of 0, 15, and 30 minutes, respectively. Bioreactors were composed of 500 milliliters Erlenmeyer flasks, plastic pipes linked via valves, and linked plastic gas bags for gas collection. The bioreactors are arranged in the figure 2 shown. To remove traces of oxygen from the system and to maintain the anaerobic conditions, nitrogen purge was used 3 times for 5 minutes into the headspace of each reactor. In the bioreactors, the 3 pre-treatment feedstocks with different beating times were added to a constant inoculum sludge of 223.3 grams, then 7.0 grams of potassium dihydrogen phosphate KDB was added and pH is measured. After the nitrogen gas feed was opened, the inverted cylinder starts to rise, and when the nitrogen gas bubbles were seen in normal measurement cylinder MC, the IC was secured with a clamp. When the IC was lifted up, it could be observed that the water inside the IC rose as well. First, the level in the IC, not the MC, was read and noted down while maintaining the IC in the lifted up position. The gas in the bag then passed through connection 1 to the IC, and the water level in the IC fell. The final level in the IC was then read and noted down. The gas volume was calculated as the final level minus the initial level.
The experimental procedure used was by anaerobic digestion to generate biogas from waste food. Observation of the experiment was on monodigestion of materials of waste food and monitored in terms of varying beating time and temperature. Before digestion process, the materials were pre-treated using Hollander beater. As from the result shows, there are 2 factors affect which are temperature and beating time on amount biogas produced. Measurement of biogas production was taken on milliliter per gram of total solids. Based on the result given, the temperature insignificant effect on biogas yield, even the beating time increase. The experiment was carried out from number beating 0 minutes, medium beating 50 minutes, and high beating 30 minutes. As the beating time increases, amount of biogas produced increases of all range of temperatures. A high production of biogas yield is recorded as 610.33 milliliter per total solid at 39 Celsius. From the effects of process parameters on biogas production, it shows higher biogas yields are obtained at increased beating times. The diagram of perturbation shows the biogas yield is affected by input variables.
Table 2 shows the results of the response surface model fitting in the form of analysis of variance, or called ANOVA. ANOVA is required to test the significance and adequacy of the model. The F-value for the model is 181.68, which implies the model is significant, which it fits the experimental data with p-value less than 0.05. So, the probability that this F-value, which 181.68, could happen due to noise is only at 0.01%. All of these model terms have values that are very close to 1, and so it indicates that the employed model is acceptable. Meanwhile, the value for the model terms b and b squares which less than 0.0500, which indicates they are significant. However, if the value greater than 0.1000, the model terms are considered as not significant. And lastly, this is the final mathematical model associated with the response in terms of actual factors and the mathematical equation that was determined by software.
As a conclusion, the effect of beating time and temperature to anaerobic digestion of waste food is discussed. The journal addresses waste food monodigestion and the processes involved in biogas processing. In this work, the mechanical pre-treatment of waste food using Hollander beater was done by anaerobic digestion process to generate biogas. The method involved breaking down the waste food size to increase feedstock specific surface areas. Temperature and beating time were taken as considerations for estimating the amount of emitted biogas. A surface response methodology, or known as RSM, was also carried out to objectively determine the effects of process parameters. The experiment conducted provides the basis for more comprehensive studies where the impact of co-digestion of waste foods with waste paper and other materials will result in higher biogas yields in the future.
There are several advantages of using biogas. Biogas is a renewable energy source. Before the existence of biogas, people all around the globe are highly dependent on fossil sources. It is made of fossilized remains of dead plants and animals, and the heat and pressure of Earth's crust from hundreds of million years ago. Depletion of these non-renewable sources have started to occur, which makes the world turn to biogas. Biogas mainly rely on anaerobic digestion of fermentation process to make methane from raw materials. It is a long-term renewable sources as trees and crops can be replanted and reproduced. When using biogas, the greenhouse emission can be reduced. Biogas is a great alternative for energy sources as it emits zero emission of greenhouse gases to the atmosphere. Although carbon dioxide is produced in the biodegradation process, the amount of carbon dioxide produced is actually equivalent to the amount of need for plants to grow. When biogas replaces fossil fuel for energy production and transport, a reduction in the emission of carbon dioxide and ammonia will occur, which contribute to mitigate the global warming. Waste can also be reduced when using biogas. Due to the growing population size, more waste material is being discarded than ever before. Biogas production have the ability to transform waste material into valuable products as it is used as a substrate for anaerobic digestion. This is an excellent way to solve the problem with overproduction of organic waste from industry, agriculture, and household. However, there are some disadvantages to this. One of it is a few technological advancements. The system used in the production of biogas today is still not efficient. A large-scale production to cater large population size is still not possible, although some biogas plants available currently are able to meet energy needs. Most governments are not willing to heavily invest in this sector. Besides, biogas contain impurities. Biogas contain impurities even after refining and compression. If biofuel is employed in power automobile, it can corrode the metal part of engine. The gaseous mix of the biofuel is more suitable in kitchen stoves and lamps. Lastly, biogas production is less suitable for dense metropolitan area. It constantly needs an abundant supply of waste material. Due to this, it is more suitable in rural and suburban area. One of the ways to enhance the biogas production is by pretreatment strategy. To avoid long-term digestion period, pretreatment such as physical, mechanical, electric impulse, wet oxidation, freeze-and thaw, biological, chemical, and thermal techniques are implemented. Due to the complex nature of substrate, pretreatment measure is appropriate for the altering composition of substrate to be more easier to decompose.